Hi, I'm not sure if this is working. How many times have I done this? It's doing something different. Here we go. Okay, I'm here to talk to you about being the seer, not the seen. It's a powerful concept. I love to give credit where credit is due, and there are many teachers I talk about often. This one came through me, and I wrote about it in my book, Scooch. Scooch? There's not really a smiley face on the book. I put that so I know my copy. Um, Chapter 25. You can find it on Amazon, Jaya the Trust Coach, and you can look inside. Being the seer, not the seen, is a concept under the personal power section of that book because it really allows you to find your solidity, to be the hero of your journey, to live your life in the way you want to live, in a way that feels good, in a way that isn't terrorized by what others think of you. So here we go. When you're the scene, you're the object. When you're in the position of this scene, you have to be self conscious. You're preoccupied with how others perceive you. And instead of just authentically being in your experience, you're you're projecting your worst fears or your worst expectations of how others might think of you, onto them and reflecting back and reading that through their eyes, their blank faces, or any look that passes over them. Like think of the situation where you're absolutely clear you were the scene, maybe a job interview or an uncomfortable social situation. For some people, it feels like they've been there their whole lives. When I wrote about this, when this concept came to my awareness, uh, I was on a journey of healing, just years and years of just painful self consciousness. Like I used to raise a blush. Like a fire hot blush when I was younger, in the easiest, like for nothing. So being the scene means, and you can get really subtle with it. You can be the scene in ways that are much less extreme than that, but that still don't feel good. That instead of having your own experience, you're preoccupied with how others see you, what they think of you, how they're measuring you. Oh my goodness, the dating world is a place where people do this horribly. That instead of thinking, oh, am I enjoying you? Do I like your sense of humor? Oh, that was interesting. Oh, I'm curious about that. You're taking the things they're doing and wondering, do you think I'm nice? Do you think I'm attractive? Do you think I'm funny? Do you like me? Are you curious about me? Are you interested in me? And if they're not, instead of using that as a cue, to move away from them, people typically use it as ways to self attack and to declare that they have no prospects or they're not lovable or whatever. So I want to invite you to catch yourself non judgmentally if you're in the scene, and that will be the first step to walk yourself back, to scooch back toward the position of the seer. Let's talk about that one. When you're the seer, you are the protagonist. You are the hero of your journey. You are the one uh, who's present, who's here, who's having the experience. You are the seer is the one who sees, but you are engaged with all of your senses. You are the one who hears, tastes, feels, smells, all of it. You're the one who's noticing, what am I drawn to? What am I curious about? What's fun for me? What's interesting to me? And so, as the seer, you're active in your own experience, having an adventure, having a journey. You're also present to yourself so that you're present to the cues that tell you more of this, less of that. I want to go that way. I want to move away from them. I want to go toward that. Curiosity is your best friend as the seer. And it doesn't mean that you'll never be self-conscious or uncomfortable or whatever, but as you feel those things, you can feel into your experience of that instead of being worried about, oh, do they like me, or what do they think of me, or am I doing okay, or whatever. You use those inner signals to measure where, how do I need to course correct, where do I need to go next, do I need a pause, do I need a breath, Do I need to get quiet? Do I need to ask questions? Whatever it is, but that information comes from inside. It's not out there. And when you're the seen, you are forcibly directing your attention more out there. You're devaluing yourself as the seen. And as the seer, your self-value gains, not in an inflated, arrogant way, in a way that you are owning your life, your truth, your reality. You're present. That's the most important thing. You can't be fully present as the seen because you're in your head, you're going to other people's heads, you're not really fully here. So let me talk to you about how presence can get you back from one to the other. First of all, always catch yourself non-judgmentally. If the judgment is inherently there, and it certainly will be initially, witness that too, and just release it as best you can. At least intend releasing it. At least know, okay, yes, there's the judgment. I'm now going to step over that to keep moving here, to keep scooching toward being the seer. But there's nothing to judge. Everybody's in the position of the seen. Even if you love this concept and dive into becoming the seer and owning your journey and showing up now and now and now present to your experience and your curiosity, you'll still land in the position of the seen sometime. I do. Uh, so uh, so there's nothing to judge. And if your judgment's there, fine. Witness that, but don't buy into it. Okay. The next step then is presence. Come to presence. Three keys for presence that I always preach: ground yourself, literally feel yourself in your body, feel your feet on the floor, connect to the here and now by being a body and connecting to that body. What further supports that then are the next two things, which are the senses and the breath. So you can literally say to yourself, especially if you can just get quiet for a while, to bring yourself back, or if you can pause, take a break, go to the bathroom, whatever, and just check through them. Sometimes I can't remember them all, so it's like, okay, taste, smell, sight, sound. Whichever senses you have access to. We don't all get the privilege of having them all. So come back to, you're the one experiencing. You're interested in. You're connecting to your senses, and that also connects you to now. So it does double duty. And then the breath. The power of the breath. I still don't think I've come to fully get it. I think it's one of those things you just can keep delving into the rest of life, now and now and now. The breath can bring you back to the core of you. It brings you back to it literally calms the nervous system. Expands and increases the breath. You don't have to sit there and say, okay, take deep breaths, breathe. Just bringing awareness to breath automatically slows it down, lengthens it, brings you back to center, brings you back to you, and enables you then to open to what your senses are revealing to you, open to what the moment has for you. If you want, you can ask questions. If something really uncomfortable has come up, what's the invitation here? If you don't feel like a victim of how you feel, or if you're not judging how you feel, you can simply tune into, okay, what's the invitation? Is there a boundary to set? Is there an exit to make? Is there a unpopular choice to go for, because that's actually what feels right to me? Am I eating unconsciously while I talk out of nervousness or habit? So let me stop that. Let me feel into my body. Let me breathe that, calm that, and come back to the scene in a way that feels better to me. There are so many things you can discover with those kinds of pauses, but you'll also get to be the seer, and you'll get to know, tune into, what do I want? What am I curious about? What does this moment have for me? And keep releasing the stuff that wants to come in, that's about, how do others perceive me? What do they think of me? Do they like me or not? All the stuff that is deeply disempowering and prevents you from fully living your life, never mind being in your power, using your gifts in the highest way, having authentic experiences of exchange with other human beings, really taking in another human being. You can't really do that when you're preoccupied with what they think of you, or what you're going to say next, or all the different forms this can take. So I just invite you to it. I love this concept. I'm going to give you one more thought about it, which is oh, that's funny. I just got a wink from someone who had a little epiphany once when I talked about this, because she's so bright and always connecting dots, and like was just felt really enlightened by the idea that oh, we're out of our business when we are the scene. We go to other people's heads. We worry about what they think of us. We're not. And you know, when you come back to being the position of the seer, you come back to your business. So that's from Byron Katie's Three Kinds of Business. And then the last thing I'm going to say, probably, but I think that's for real, is this idea, this model, this construct enabled me to jump into public speaking unselfconsciously when I would not have guessed it would be so easy for me and so easy to keep developing. And, you know, because although it looks so, imagine that you're speaking to an audience or you're in front of a camera, or you're in front of a group, and what it looks like in the physical material world, but there's always more going on, right? What it looks like is that they're looking at you. So it's almost like, well, inherently, I'm the scene in that position. No, because what else is going on is you can have your focus on what you see and what you're bringing to this group. There's a reason that they're gathered with you. There's a shared purpose. There's a shared interest. So people may be looking at me when I'm speaking, but it's about their curiosity about something that I'm super passionate about and super interested in. It's not about me at all. I don't even think I'm fully the one speaking. Like, I think we really all channel. Stuff comes through us, and you know, this is the Jaya flavored stuff, but there's the you flavored stuff. So it really helps to think in terms of, okay, yeah, they're looking at me, but my focus is on this beautiful stuff. It's really almost as if another thing that's happening in a parallel universe, if you will, is that, you know, you're all looking at a table where you're laying out some beautiful ideas and thoughts and examples and illustrations, and they're looking at it with you and pouring over it because they have investment in it. They're interested in that. It's not about you. So I just want to offer that. Perhaps that can help you as well. Use it everywhere. Use it in sex. I was just flipping through what I wrote in Scooch about that, and at the very end, I mentioned, you know, somebody, a client, I work with smart, amazing human beings, brought it to my attention that you can use this in sex. You know, like, you lose the authenticity of the moment, the spontaneity, the being in your senses. If you're worried about performance, if you're worried about how, you know, what someone thinks of you, whether they're attracted to you, whether they are enjoying you or the experience or whatever, you know, you're not having your own experience. You know, we're not here to be bodies for someone else to use. So I just, you know, apply it everywhere. You see, that thing about public speaking wasn't the last thing, but now I'm signing off. Thank you for joining me.